Hey everyone, welcome you back to my channel. It's been a while here for me. Want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I know it's a little late. Uh, Unfortunately here I was tested positive for COVID, so if my voice sounds a little bit raspy or nasally, you know why. Um, there's been a lot going on in the Tismverse, as I want to call it, over the past month or so since I've last updated my channel. Today, basically, we're going to be discussing Darkside Phil and his Adsense scam. Now, what brought this upon us is right before Christmas, Phil tried to rewrite history, basically of his channels, and he's also now no longer wanting to be known by the moniker of King of Hate, even though every pre-stream podcast he's hating on somebody, let it be a content creator or a game developer or just random people. But yes, before Christmas he tried to rewrite history, basically trying to make himself the victim. He talked about his AdSense stuff or whatever, which got me into looking into AdSense, what it is, how Phil scammed AdSense, how he is possibly using multiple accounts, which is against the TOS. If you hear a little bit of rumbling in the background, I'm watching Ghostbusters Afterlife on the big screen, so sorry about that. So what this video is going to be basically follow is we're going to look at AdSense, what it is. We're going to look at the AdSense terms of service, basically two spots where it's going to show how Phil probably has multiple channels that are monetized through AdSense, but different AdSense accounts. And we're going to discuss identity theft, because there are some rumors out there, certain channels that have discussed this in the past who believe Phil may have used somebody else's identity to get monetized. But I just want to preface this before we go any further that I cannot prove any of this, and I have handed all this information over to Google AdSense itself. I did this before Christmas, and during or right after Christmas, Phil's video was demonetized on DSP Gaming, and now that he shuttered basically King of Hate vlogs and KO Gaming, which are still there, and they do, according to Phil, have AdSense accounts on them. So, without further ado, let's get started. Now, this is Google AdSense. Now, what is Google AdSense? Well, once you get your channel monetized and you want advertisements on your channel, you would use Google AdSense. And I don't have an AdSense account, so I can talk about it. According to Google's terms of service, they want organic growth. Okay, so what that means is you are not allowed to tell your viewers to please click on my ads because it helps me make money. You're not allowed to say that. Now, I'm not under any NDA because I do not have a Google AdSense at this point, so I don't have to abide by that. If I do and Google wants me to edit this video to remove this content, then I will. But that's way in the future. I'm not even close to being monetized on my channel yet, and I haven't even decided if I want to. So let's look at the terms of service. Now, within the terms of service, this is what Phil has never actually looked at. We have this set to the United States because Phil resides in the United States. It is different per country depending on where AdSense is available. So that's just something to take into consideration. We are going by the United States rules for Google AdSense, and this is what we're going to look at. Now, Phil had Google AdSense on his DSP Gaming, on KO Gaming, and on King of Hate vlogs. Now, in 2018, and we will look that video, Phil states that he's using multiple AdSense accounts, and this is not allowed according to Google AdSense service. And we'll look at that right here. So basically, you may only have one account If you, including those under your direction or control, create multiple accounts, you will not be entitled to further payment from Google and your accounts will be subject to termination. Now, Phil does list, and this does mean, if you read it all the way through, Phil does list 2 employees underneath Burnell Productions. Okay? Now, I'm going to assume that second employee is Kat. So what this basically means is, because Phil lists his company as a sole proprietorship, there is no distinguishing Philip Paul Burnell versus Burnell Productions. It's one entity. And anybody that is employed under Burnell Productions has to follow this rule for AdSense. So Kat wouldn't be able to use an AdSense account because she is listed as an employee of Burnell Productions. Okay? And that means Phil could not use more than one AdSense account. Now, you are allowed to monetize more than one channel with one AdSense account. That's okay. That is not what Phil admits to. Okay? Now, there is another part in here that I want to take a look at. Just that it right here with terminations and suspensions. Now, if you read through terminations and suspensions, you will read through where it states that if you lose your Google AdSense account, you are and you use your appeal. Now, you are allowed one appeal through Google AdSense. Now, I've contacted Google, and I'll actually show you here in a little second, that you're allowed one appeal, but it is very tough to go through. Now, Phil, and we're going to look into this in Phil's history of when he first had his AdSense account banned by Google and why it was banned. But if you just want to read through the termination here really quick, you can do this on your own as well. Basically, it states that if your Google AdSense account is terminated or suspended, you are prohibited from creating a new account right here. So you're not allowed to create a new account. Okay? Now, there are probably some ways around this, and I'm not going to discuss it here because the legality of AdSense and the terms of service. This is strictly just looking at how Phil probably manipulated AdSense in order to monetize his channels. Because that's all Phil cares about is money. He doesn't give a shit about his channel. He doesn't give a shit about his viewers. He doesn't even give a shit about the games he's playing. Phil only cares about that dollar bill, y'all, right? That's what it comes down to. And you can see that in Phil's streams. So, I contacted Google. And I asked them, 1, a company or individual is only allowed to have one AdSense account. Any other AdSense accounts will be terminated. Is this true? If an AdSense account is banned, say I have an AdSense account and I break TOS and lose it, can I apply for another? Well, an account that has been banned can be appealed and reinstated. And I got an answer. Yes, for question number 1. A company or individual is only allowed one AdSense account. Okay, so we now know that Phil can only have one AdSense account. He cannot be using multiple AdSense accounts on his channels. Okay? If an AdSense account is banned, say I have an AdSense account that break TOS, can I apply for another? No. And we read that in the TOS as well. You cannot apply if it is outright banned and you lose your appeal. You cannot apply for another AdSense account. You are fucked. And of course, well, an account that has been banned can be appealed. Rarely. You get one chance and your appeal had better be convincing. Okay? So we know now from a Google product expert on the Google forums. I also did contact, but I have not got back the chat logs from the Google rep as of filming of this video. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is we're going to go into the history of DSP, and we're just going to go over this. We're going to watch a little bit of videos here, and if you just want to listen, that's fine. You don't need to have the screen up. You can just listen to it if you're at work, you're just chilling at home or whatever, doing laundry. Great. But we're going to look at the history of Phil. We're going to look at his AdSense loss dating back to 2010. We are going to look at, we're just going to briefly discuss how he was able to get AdSense, or able to get ad revenue while he was in Machinima, while he was in Curse, why he lost his Machinima account, why he lost his Curse account, why he lost Blip TV, and then we're going to go in and we're going to look at the tips tracker, because this may actually show him getting revenue, because people did question, there are credits and transfers into Phil's accounts that are suspicious, but it would show that there's a possibility that Phil is using someone else to monetize his channels, because Phil's original AdSense account was never reinstated. He states that he appealed it, but he lost that appeal because Phil did break TOS back in 2010. And let's take a look at that right now.
Please go to my partner channel, The King of Hate HD, and click on the ads that show up on the videos there, because hopefully, fingers crossed, that actually starts giving me some money back for what I'm doing. I mean, it's not cheap to do what I'm doing. I bought a lot of games, a lot of equipment, and now I have my own condo, which is basically my studio, to do whatever the hell I want. So, anything that you can give back is much appreciated. I also do have the PayPal donation. Basically, I crunched some numbers. I tried to figure some stuff out, and
now this here is from 2010. Now, during this time, Phil was fired from the helicopter repair company that his dad had got him. Now, there's many rumors, and again, it's tough to know what's the truth, but one rumor is Phil's dad retired and they didn't like Phil, so as soon as Phil's dad retired, they fired him. Phil's dad was still employed at this company, apparently at this point, because he was one of the founding members of this helicopter repair company. The other rumor is Phil was fired because he was possibly, I don't want to use the word because there's no way that we could prove it, but let's just say a woman at the company did not like Phil. And Phil bought his condo to try and impress this woman at the company. And Phil has admitted this in an earlier video that he bought the condo to impress this woman. But nothing ever came of it, and this could also be why he was fired. Again, I have no proof. And it's just hearsay, all right? So let's continue watching a little bit.
Basically, realistically, I could probably make this work and be that I just make videos for YouTube as a job. It being that now that I don't have a full-time job taking up 8 hours a day, actually really it was more like 10 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, and having that time now to work on my videos and my gameplay and other things, I might be able to make it work. And here's how. It's not going to be based off of selling any product. It's basically going to be based off of my partner channel, which is this channel, The King of Hate HD, and basically how much you guys participate with this channel, if you know what I mean. I'm not allowed to come out and just say, how you can do that, but anyone who's accustomed to YouTube and how the partner channels work, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying.
Okay, so there's two clips there where Phil states, basically, click on the ads to give me money. Okay? Because Phil had lost his job. Now, you can't do that. We've read that in the Google AdSense terms of service. You cannot just come out and tell your viewers, click on ads because every click you give me on an ad gives me money. And what you'll see here shortly is where we run into a problem where invalid click activity. And that is what got Phil's account banned in late 2010.
Hey, yo.
He admitted it comes with it in the writing that he had a dummy account. He had a fake account that he was using to see how it goes. But I think we'll go with the two. Second video, Snorpernell, DSP. Twitch payment doesn't matter. He still needs the tips. And Salty Street Fighter 2 Rage Quit. Ooh, it's gonna be delicious.
Okay, let's look at this one here. This is from Mr. Huff and Stuff. We're going to use his video. This video was filmed back in 2018 where Mr. Huff and Stuff was actually going through it. I also have a video lined up from Super Crazy, where Super Crazy talked about it as well here, right after Phil tried to rewrite his history. Let's take a look at Mr. Huff and Stuff.
At all. This sucks. I didn't want to do this. This is supposed to be a fun gameplay stream, and it's turning into something completely different now,
Now, this was an emergency restream. This is right after Phil got dumped by Curse. And we'll go into why he got dumped by Curse.
You guys can hear me, right? Here on Twitch, where I live stream, and I have a partnership on YouTube for my YouTube channels, right? And I make money various ways. On Twitch, it's based off of mostly your contributions. You know, when you guys come on stream and you cheer, sub, or tip, that's what keeps me going. Yes, I run advertisements on Twitch, but the income I make on those is very negligible. It's the last thing that I think of. On YouTube, I'm 100% dependent on ad revenue. Now, the good news is, in the last year, that I have, like I said, focused mostly on Twitch. And so because of that, I've built my Twitch viewer base, and honestly, Twitch is my main source of income every month. But that being said, YouTube still makes me good money to the point where it's still a significant large chunk of income.
Now, Phil has lied about this over the years. There's YouTube makes him good money, and then YouTube doesn't make him good money, and then the ad revenue is really good, and then the ad revenue is really bad. You get this bullshit that comes from his mouth every single time, and it just gets on my nerves to the point where I want to scream. Earlier today being Friday, January 14th, 2022, I had to stop on the pre-stream because Phil was babbling on about NFTs and not knowing the difference between NFTs, blockchains, cryptocurrency, just spreading so much misinformation. It's unbelievable that he's allowed to still do this. But let's continue watching.
That I make, and I rely on that money in order to pay my bills and do stuff. I didn't have YouTube income, I would not be able to pay my bills. And that's why people ask me all the time, "What, Phil, why do you still put up with YouTube? You say that you don't like YouTube and all their bullshit, okay? And the bottom line is, why do you still work with YouTube? Why do you bother with that? Why don't you just focus on Twitch?" And I really have two answers. Number one, because there are some people who want to watch me on Twitch and they can't. They can't be around for the streams, or they don't have high enough bandwidth to watch videos or streams here on Twitch. And so YouTube is the only way.
Phil needs to stop talking about bandwidth because he has no fucking clue what he's talking about when it comes to anything IT related. He has no idea.
For them to watch my stuff. And number two, because I've had a long-standing relationship, 10 years. This year, I've been a YouTuber, 10 years, where I've been able to put out content on YouTube and build a fan base. And it really is those people on YouTube that made me known on the internet. So I don't want to abandon them. 10 years of support for people over on YouTube. Just this morning, as I was doing pre-stream for this very stream, someone said, "Phil, I just moved to Japan, and I can't watch your a long time." Like, this was actually something that I had multiple discussions with Curse about. And for the last year and a half, I was partnered with Curse Network. Okay.
Okay, so this is Curse. All right, now let's jump into this really quick. Let's just do a quick history on Phil's AdSense accounts and the partnerships he's had when it came to YouTube Blip TV. Okay, so in 2010, late 2010. Phil loses his AdSense account because of invalid click activities. Phil states he appeals it, but he loses his appeal, and Phil moves over to Blip TV. Now, we all know why Phil got banned from Blip TV. If you don't, just search DSP, what was it, Dead Space 2 video, and you'll understand why. I'm not going to link it here. I'm not going to play it here. Let's just say that Phil starts talking about some Nazi stuff in that video, and we'll leave it at that. After he gets banned from Blip TV, Phil ends up partnered with Machinima. Now, with Machinima, remember, Phil's KO Gaming at the time, King of Hate Vlogs, and DSP Gaming. Phil has multiple channels for multiple revenue streams. And Phil's AdSense account is currently, at this point, banned. But being under Machinima's umbrella, he won't have his own AdSense account. He'll be using Machinima's AdSense, and they'll be paying Phil his ad revenue. That's how that worked. That's how Phil was still able to get ad revenue on his channels. Now, this goes on through 6 years, because Phil was with Machinima for 6 years. Now, Machinima dropped Phil because Phil basically hounded his partner manager to get him more money that Phil wasn't worth. Okay? And Machinima even told Phil that he can't do this forever. So what Phil did is he went above his partner manager's head and went higher up. And those higher ups at Machinima got pissed. And they sat down with Phil, and Phil admits to this, that they had a discussion. And the way Phil puts it is that they cut ties amicably. Bullshit. Phil got his ass fired. And it's also worth noting at this time that there were other racist and hateful stuff that was going on, very toxic shit that was going on Phil's channel. That also probably played into it, and Machinima just wanted to cut ties. They wanted to cut the fat. And Phil was a cancerous fat, let's just put it that way. So after Phil loses his Machinima contract, it goes back into limbo, right? Phil's no longer getting ad revenue. But he's already on Twitch, so he really doesn't give a shit about his YouTube channels. Like he said, it's just an archive. But then he partnered with Curse. Now, why did he partner with Curse? Well, he wasn't getting any ad revenue on any of his channels, right? Now, partnering with Curse, again, Curse needed to have an AdSense account already on your channel. And Phil actually discusses this. There's no proof that this was true. I can't corroborate it because Curse is no longer the Curse of yesteryears. Curse is now owned by Amazon, which owns Twitch, so that is all. I can't get any information. I tried contacting Curse to see if they would validate it, but I cannot. They don't have any of that information. So I have to take Phil's word for it that Twitch needed an AdSense account already on the channel. Phil doesn't state that if it's a viable AdSense account, it could be a suspended one, right? And then it's the same thing as Machinima. You end up under the Curse umbrella. Now, what got Phil banned from Curse? Or what got him fired from Curse? The Lavaria situation. While on Curse, Phil shopped around and got caught in that Lavaria scam. If a lot of you don't know about it, search it up about Phil. It is a good watch where they were basically just trying to scam YouTubers out of money, and they were not going to be a partnered manager. There was no way that was ever going to work. But Phil shopped around because Phil, of course, being Phil, he's a greedy motherfucker, wanted more money. And Curse caught wind of it. Curse fired him, and this is what we're watching right now. So let's continue watching.
Basically, in a nutshell, without going into too much detail, I'm not partnered anymore, and this was in the works for a long time. Like, this was actually something that I had multiple discussions with Curse about, and it was actually an amicable way that we were gonna end our partnership.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't any hard feelings on each side. It wasn't like I was mad at Curse or Curse was mad at me. Not like the Machinima situation last year at all. Okay, it wasn't like that whatsoever. Okay, it was.
So he was only partnered with with Curse for a year until he fucked it up. That's actually a good clip. Tism hands. So he's now admitting that Machinima and him left on bad terms. Before, though, when Phil first lost his Machinima, he was all like, oh, it's the same thing. You know, it was amicable. There was no hard feelings, nothing. Bullshit. Phil was fired from Machinima and Phil was fired from Curse.
Very, very different situation. And the bottom line is, I could get into the specifics of why the Curse partnership ended. I don't necessarily think that it's going to benefit anyone to tell you the reasons why. It basically is a financial decision. Let's put it that way. As you guys know, my channel on YouTube isn't huge anymore, DSP Gaming, even though...
Financial, right? Phil wasn't making enough money. He wanted to go elsewhere while still partnered then lost his contract.
Brings in between 1 and 2 million views a month, right? It's not generating tons of revenue. And keep in mind, a partnership network takes a very, very small cut of what you make ad revenue wise on YouTube. And basically, just put it this way, no wrongdoing.
So again, he contradicts himself there, right? One point he's making really good ad revenue, and the next it's really small. It's a small portion.
On my end or their end, it was just they decided that that was going to be the end of it. We amicable break, I guess, is what you would call. Okay, so all I have to say about Curse Network, they're a great network. For a year and a half, I worked with them, and had no problems whatsoever with them. And I think that they're a great network. If anyone who's looking for a network, maybe that's who you should go with, because they're a good network. All right, real talk. I never had a problem. They were very helpful, useful, and nothing but nice to me, and stood up for me and did a lot of positive stuff.
And that story's changed over the years since he lost his curse, right? It's the exact same as Machinima. Oh, they were really good to me, and it's amicable split, and then fuck them. They were horrible. Blah blah blah. That's how Phil rolls.
Okay, so let's put it that way. All right. But I'm not partnered with them anymore. And what I was planning to do was basically do what I've done with my vlogging channel. My vlogging channel, The King of Hate Vlogs, has not been partnered with anyone for over a year. All I have is, ads running on there, my own personal ads on those videos, okay? And yeah, the ad revenue on that channel is terrible, but I don't really vlog that much anymore. As you guys know, I'm not doing active tons of vlogging or anything like that, so I don't expect to make a lot of money on that channel.
Okay, Phil. So if this is where it gets really, really murky. So he admits he's got a different AdSense account. He's getting ads on King of Hate Vlogs, okay? And you're gonna understand this right away, because he's gonna state that the AdSense account that he has on KO Gaming and DSP Gaming, they have separate AdSense accounts. And remember, when we looked at the terms of service, you are not allowed to use more than one AdSense account. As an individual, as a business, and Phil is Burnell Productions. There is no distinguishing there's no difference between the two. Okay?
Channel. But what I was planning on doing was, when DSP Gaming left Curse, I was going to just put it in a personal ads and run personal ads and make money on DSP Gaming that way. Now, I knew that probably there was going to be a big dip. All right. There was going to be a big dip in the income that I was going to make on DSP Gaming. I didn't know what it was going to be, but I knew there was going to be a big dip. Okay. And that being said, I was very uncertain. I've been telling you guys recently, right, that I've been having a lot of stress. I've been having a lot of problems. I say personal problems. What it is, like, at night, I can't sleep. I'm thinking, man, what's going to happen when DSP Gaming isn't partnered with Curse anymore, and I have to run my own personal ads? What's the big? Was there going to be a giant difference in ad revenue? I don't know, because I've never done that. You know what I mean? I've never done that at all. I've never run personal ads on an active YouTube channel.
Okay. And here's another lie, because he just says that on the King of Hate Vlogs, he's running personal ads, and now he's saying that he's never run personal ads. Right? So this is the two-step, where Phil says one thing while doing another thing, right? That's one of the main skills of a con man. Get people to look over here while you're doing something over here. And that's Phil Burnell in a nutshell.
Channel where I'm trying to make money to see how much money I can make, so I have no idea how it would work, right? So I've been worried about this for about 2 months, because it was about 2 months ago when I started talks with Curse about how we were going to have this amicable breaking of our partnership, and I was going to go solo, basically. And I talked with them about it, and they were like, yeah, here's how. They even showed me how to do it and everything, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. Maybe it won't be a big deal, Maybe there won't be a big deal at all. It'll just be, the partnership ends, and then I can immediately just link the channel to an AdSense account, and start running ads, much like I do with my vlogging channel, and everything will be fine, right? But I didn't know. I didn't know how this was going to go. Sadly, it didn't go that way. So here's what happened. I'm not even kidding. As I was doing the pre-stream today, I went to check my emails, and it said, oh, okay, your channel's been released. Okay, fine. DSP Gaming's been released. So I went on a break quick before I started gameplay. I said, all right, I'm just going to link it to the AdSense and get the ads enabled in bulk, and we'll see what happens. I go to the channel, and it says, DSP Gaming has been is not valid for monetization because of invalid click activity.
Okay. So this is the same thing Phil ran into back in 2010. So what happened? So over the last 7 years, Phil lost his AdSense account, appealed it, got the appeal denied, ended up on Blip TV, got banned from Blip TV due to racism, partnered with Machinima to get his YouTube channel. Now, under Machinima, the only channel that was ever, sorry to go off on a tangent here, that was ever monetized for Phil was DSP Gaming. KO Gaming wasn't monetized through Machinima, neither was King of Hate Vlogs. It's only the one channel. So Phil loses his Machinima account, or his partnership, because of just being stupid and going over his partner manager's head when he shouldn't have, and due to hateful slurs. Not racial slurs, Phil, hateful slurs. Like when you insult somebody online, let it be a game developer, or let's say garbage men, or old man yelling at the weather, right? That's, well, you know Phil loves to do that. So Phil ended up going to Twitch, wanted to get his DSP Gaming monetized again for ad revenue, went underneath Curse, shopped around for Lavaria, got fired from Curse, and then the old AdSense account, which is still attached to DSP Gaming, became active again. But that account was banned due to invalid click activity. So Phil still has the old AdSense account attached to DSP Gaming 7 years later. But he's no longer partnered. He no longer has ad revenue. Watch what happens.
Now, wait a minute. 5 minutes ago, I was with Curse Network, and ads were enabled on the channel.
Because
so
you're
obvious
under
that's
Curse's
not the case.
temple.
There is no invalid click activity whatsoever. What I think happened is that the channel was linked to an invalid AdSense account. And allow me to explain the situation because it's very confusing.
No, it's
All
not.
right? It's very confusing, and I want to explain what happened up front. Last year, YouTube instituted a new policy that if you were going to be partnered with any partnership network, you needed to have a personal AdSense account created and linked to your YouTube channel.
Now, Phil had an AdSense account, or has an AdSense account, linked to the channel at this time, but it was banned. But it was never stated if you needed to have a valid AdSense account or just an AdSense account of whatever. Remember, Phil has not changed the AdSense account on DSP Gaming since 2010 because he didn't need to. He was partnered for 6 years, he was on Blip TV, and then he was on Twitch. Phil didn't give a shit about that. But continue listening.
All right. And once it was linked to your YouTube channel, then you could get partnership through a network. You couldn't just link to a network at all anymore. They completely changed the policy. Okay? Now, they did this.
Also, I've looked into this, and I cannot find anything, any information in YouTube's TOS, in channel TOSs, anything like that, that is true to what Phil is saying right now.
All right. They did this during a time when I was leaving Machinima and I was going to get partnered with Curse Network. So I already went through this initial setup where, man, I had to create a new AdSense account, link it to the channel, have it show as valid, then get linked to Curse Network. And I did that. I did that last year on DSP Gaming, and I got linked with Curse, and everything was good for the last year and a half that I've been with them. I had not a single problem. However, okay, excuse me.
Jesus.
What ended up happening in the last year was that dummy AdSense account that I linked to DSP Gaming got deactivated.
You can't have a dummy AdSense account. Okay, they don't exist. Dummy AdSense accounts do not exist. That is so far from the truth. But again, Phil's talking to children, right? The main people that Phil streams to are kids, right? Like, a lot of people know this, that's why they accused him when he masturbated on stream, right? That he was masturbating in front of children. Phil's demographic is the younger audience who are gullible. They don't know this. They don't know this stuff. They don't know things like terms of service or EULAs or anything like that. They have no idea. So Phil can just talk out of his ass and then laugh in the background.
Okay, now I don't know why. I don't know if YouTube looked at it and said, oh, well, Phil already has an active AdSense account over on his vlogging channel, right?
Okay, so here we go. He admits he has an AdSense account on his vlogging channel that works. But on Darkside Phil or DSP Gaming, he doesn't. Now again, think back to when we read the TOS. Are you allowed to have more than one AdSense account? No. So how did Phil pull this off? Let's listen a little bit more here.
So he can't have two AdSense accounts, so we need to disable this one. But they did. They basically disabled the AdSense account that was associated with DSP Gaming. Now, I didn't know that. There was no way to know that because I was linked with Curse, so I don't even get to see that association.
Phil knew. 100%. Phil knew what was going on. He knew he couldn't use his old AdSense account. So Phil, and we'll discuss this here in a little bit, Phil skirted around AdSense, just to say the least. Let's continue listening.
On my YouTube panels or channels or anything like that, okay? So, what I think happened is once Curse said, okay, we're releasing your channel, it defaulted back to that old AdSense account, and that AdSense account shows as suspended, so now it just locks the channel and says you can't monetize any videos anymore on DSP Gaming. So what does that mean? That means literally no ads. No ads on DSP Gaming. Okay? I can't put any ads on DSP Gaming right now. So literally any video you watch on DSP Gaming has no advertisements unless a third party claimed the video. And that means I went from making some money every day to zero. Literally today, zero.
Good. Get a job.
All right.
Filthy fucker.
This sucks. Okay? This sucks. And the bottom line is that I can't find another network. Number one, I doubt another network would take me. And number two, another network cannot partner me unless the channel shows as valid for being monetized, which means I need to get the ads re-enabled on the channel. I don't know if I can.
And again, he says one thing and then says another. He's got an AdSense account, but this was monetized. And now he doesn't have a proper AdSense account, so he can't get them monetized. So what is it, Phil? You need to decide. This is how people know you're lying. When 10 seconds before you say one thing, and then 10 seconds later you say another. You're just talking out of your ass. And he's flailing all over the place. His eyes are darting all over the place because he can't. He's trying to think up of how he's going to basically bullshit his way through this.
I don't know. So what I've done, there's an appeal form, and I filled out the appeal form and said, listen, I don't think that you guys disabled this for invalid click activity. You couldn't have because it was active until I delinked from Curse. What I think...
Now again, here he is. He's lying again. Phil appealed the banned AdSense account back in 2010. Now remember, according to the TOS, if you don't win your appeal, you can't use another AdSense account. So Phil couldn't get monetized because that AdSense account back in 2010 was banned. You can't apply for another one according to the AdSense TOS. But now he's saying that he appealed it again, which again, we know for a fact, you can only appeal once. So, whose AdSense account was Phil using? Now, I think we've listened to enough of Phil's bullshit here about how he's got multiple channels that have AdSense accounts on them. His DSP Gaming at the time of filming this doesn't have an AdSense account because it was banned. It was the same account used back in 2010. Now, the theory goes, and there is no way to prove this, and the first theory started by the Sons of Kojima, SOK, was that at the time when Phil lost his job at Curse, him and Panda Lee had already broken up. And the theory goes is that Phil was going to use Leanna's identity. That was the theory, that Phil used Leanna's identity and created another AdSense account under Leanna's identity. Now, Leanna actually had before getting together with Phil, actually had her own YouTube channel. And you see this, like, even with Kat, she used to stream on YouTube as well. But when they got involved with DSP, or Phil, they stopped streaming. Now, was Phil using Leanna's Adsense account? There's no way to prove that, okay? Now, later on in 2018, Gundam, It's a Gundam, big shout out here to the sellout. Gundam even touches base on this, that Phil was using his ex's or Kat's AdSense account. And it would make sense, right? Let's say, hypothetical, there's no way I can prove this, but again, remember, you can only have one AdSense account. Let's say on DSP Gaming, he has an AdSense account in Leanna's name, okay? And there's an account out there that it gets dumped into, or he has an agreement with Leanna that she will send him his ad revenue as a transfer, a bank transfer, right? And we'll look at the tips tracker because it is a possibility. And then let's say on KO Gaming, he's got Kat's AdSense account. And let's say on King of Hate Vlogs, he's got Dave Burnell or Karen Burnell, right? Because those are his parents' name. Let's say he's got their identities on that channel, right? And that's how he has 3 different AdSense accounts. But again, that's a way that Phil skirts AdSense. Now, let's look at this. Is this identity theft? Yeah. Phil's using somebody else's identity to gain monetary value. Okay? That is what Phil is doing. Now, this is hypothetical. I can't prove it. And like I said, I've handed this stuff over to Google, and I'm going to let them look into it. But it does make a lot of sense once you start looking at the DSP tips tracker. And let's take a look here. So there have been credits on Phil's account. And you can see here, right? In March of 2020, there's a credit to his account. In April, there is a credit to his account, right? There's a credit to his account. And there are some ones where people question, like, what are these credits coming from? They're not checks. They're just credits. So transfers, just like you see with when Google or Twitter transfers to him, it's listed as a credit to his bank account. What if these are AdSense money, this is his ad revenue, transferred from those people, saying, I'm not saying Leanne's going to do it, I'm not saying, or I can't talk for Kat, I can't talk for Leanne, I can't talk for Phil's parents. But what if this is what is going on? That these are King of Hate, right? Because you can always see it, there's twice a month, it's usually about twice a month, that he gets his Google ad revenue, right? Direct deposit from Google. So there's his ad revenue from Google. And then he has the 2 transfers into his account. So one is for DSP Gaming, one is for King of Hate Vlogs, one is for KO Gaming. Right? It does look kind of suspicious that he's getting transfers, from where nobody knows, right? And they're always around the same of the month, right? Like these credits or whatever. And those aren't transfers from PayPal or anything like that. That's just because you can see transfers or microtransactions from PayPal on the bank leak. Shout out Piece of Peace. Thank you very much, my brother, for this awesome piece of work that you've done. But it makes a lot of sense if you look at it, because Phil's not going to be able to get his original AdSense account reinstated. According to the terms of service, you cannot get another AdSense account if you have one that is banned. So what's Phil's options for monetizing his channel? Not to use his identity. Now, again, like I said, I can't prove any of this, but I've handed it over to Google, and we'll let Google look at the 3 channels. Now, if Phil watches this video, Phil can go and just automatically remove all the ads revenue from his channel and just have the one. But again, remember, his account's been banned, can't be reinstated because he lost his appeal. So how is he getting ad revenue currently, as of 2022? How is he getting ad revenue on DSP Gaming, the King of Hate Vlogs, and on KO Gaming? Because those channels, even though Phil says those channels are not, like, here, let's take a look at it. KO Gaming. KO Gaming is not dead, right? Like, yeah, he's got a ton of subscribers on it, so he should still be getting some revenue from this. He just hasn't updated it in years, okay? Like, it is a dead channel in that sense, but it's not a retired channel because it hasn't been deleted, because he's going to get the ad revenue on these videos. Right? Now let's look at King of Hate. Now, of course, he's changed the title of King of Hate to DSP's vlogging channels, but he still has King of Hate listed in the banner. Like, what a fucking idiot. And now he's listed it as retired. Okay, so if it's retired, Phil? God, shut up. If it is retired, Phil, delete it. But he's not going to delete it because he's going to lose all those views again. Right? And that's what led to his shit happening years ago where he lost all those views and he complained about everything because he deleted his videos. So he's now moved everything over to DSP Gaming, but his channel's still active. Why is it still active? Well, because he gets ad revenue on all these old videos. But how is he getting that ad revenue? That's the question. And he's admitted that he uses a separate AdSense account on this channel, and that is not allowed. He is only allowed to have one AdSense account. His AdSense account was banned years ago. He tried to appeal it. He didn't win the appeal. He moved over to Blip. And now here we are years later, looking into how did Phil scam AdSense? Did Phil use identity theft in order to get his channels monetized so he can continue making money? I'll let you guys be the judge. Now, if you want to sound off in the comments, I want to ask everybody a question here, okay? And just bear with me, because this question needs to be asked, because over the years, Phil has become worse and worse and worse as a human being, in my eyes, and a lot of people's eyes as well. You know, from stabbing friends in the back or stabbing family members in the back over money, and then fucking off to Washington, going across the country to get away from it all, and then scamming his viewers with the Project 7 revival, where he did the Patreon shit and scammed the viewers out of like $1,300 when he stole all the t-shirts from John Rambo and Howard and sold them behind their backs when he was living in Washington. He's done some questionable things over the years. I want to ask you guys this. And sound off. Again, please sound off in the comments. Do you think Philip Paul Brunel, Darkside Phil, is a danger? Not only to himself, but to others. Just think about that. Do you think, looking at this gouty motherfucker right here, knowing all the stuff that he's done, the scams he's pulled, the racism, the toxicity in his channel, do you think DSP is a danger out there? Myself, I personally do. I think he is a very dangerous person. But that's just my opinion. And then also along this question, do you think platforms like YouTube, Twitch, Blip TV, and I'm not even sure if they're even around anymore, do you think those types of platforms should be held responsible for allowing an individual like Phil to do this? To scam companies, scam individuals out of their hard-earned money, you know, slander and harass people, which he accuses everybody else of doing to him, but it's okay when he does it. do you think YouTube, the platform, do you think it should be held responsible for allowing people like Phil to do this? Like, Twitch got rid of him. Okay, Blip TV got rid of him. Blip TV didn't even last that long. He was gone quickly on Blip TV. They did the right thing. YouTube allows a lot of leeway when it comes to what Phil has done. You know, there's blatant racism. He breaks the YouTube TOS just by stating crowdfunding, because you're not allowed to crowdfund on YouTube according to the terms of service. But that's what Phil states, right? That's how he works. He's crowdfunded, even though it's a business. He's crowdfunded. So YouTube needs to step up, and YouTube needs to hit individuals like this. And hopefully it's going to start. Like I said, I've handed everything over to Google. I'm going to let them look into it, and we'll see where the cards fall. And I just want to thank everybody again. I've got another subscriber on the channel. It's awesome. You know, I've got 4 subscribers now, guys. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, to me, that's amazing, because I'm just some loser from Edmonton. You know, I love gaming. I've been gaming since I was 4 years old. I'm the same age as Phil. I actually have a full-time job, and I'm gonna just discuss some stuff here with my own personal stuff, because things have not been going well for me here since basically June. And I'll just get into that right now, I guess. So I look after my elderly parents, and I'm the only one in the family with an income. I have a blessed job for a great company here in Edmonton, and I love what I do. I love the people that I work with, even though it's sometimes we can beat each other's throats. It's a great job. I do woodworking. Very rewarding job. And I look after my elderly parents, like I said. I have my stepfather and my mother, who are not... They're both have mobility issues. My stepfather can barely walk. My mom has a bad knee, and she had to go through surgery in the summer. I'll get into that here in a little second. But basically, I have to look after them all by myself. And currently, I have COVID. I tested positive last Sunday, so it's been difficult for me. I've been away from work for a week, and if I don't work, I don't get paid. So I have to rely on CSRB, which is, I'm going to say, it's not enough to survive on, period. Okay? So back in June, I do have a brother and a sister-in-law and a nephew. They were living with us for 4 years because my brother and sister-in-law were in massive debt, and they couldn't do it. They needed someone to help look after my nephew, who now is 6 years old. So when they moved in with us, he was 1, 2. And everything was okay. You know, we were in a small home, so it does get crowded, but I'm at home a lot. My brother and sister, they have a job, but my brother and sister-in-law, even though they have a job, they really can't hold one down properly. They are identical to Phil when it comes to family values, morals, ethics, right? They don't give a shit about anybody but themselves. So we lived together for about 4 or 5 years. And then back in June, my sister-in-law and my brother attacked my parents. Broke my stepfather's foot. Scratched up my mom's arm. So they were evicted from our residence. And but I love my nephew. My nephew, in the middle of all this, my nephew, he's just like me. He's a big-time gamer. I don't get to see him very often now, which is pretty sad. And I love my nephew to death. I will do anything for my nephew. But they were evicted. Now, right when they were evicted, they were given a month to get their shit out of the house, and they didn't. They ended up showing up in July with a U-Haul and 2 buddies of theirs, and they basically tried to empty out the house. And the police wouldn't come out here because it's a civil matter, right? And basically I told the cops, I'm like, listen, there's somebody that's in my house that's not supposed to be there that's basically robbing us. What am I supposed to do? Well, it's your brother, and, you know, you're not in danger, and blah, 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 which is full of shit. Now, also, at this time, my mom had to go in for surgery, and my mom is getting all her teeth replaced, and she's now retired, and this was paid for by the company that she was working for at the time. So she had to go in for major facial surgery because they had to remove a bone from her leg, or from her foot, I should say, and some tendons or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know. And then they had to build up her jaw and increase the blood flow in her face and her jaw. So they basically peeled her face back. They had cut from behind her ear almost around to the other ear, and then peeled her jaw up and fused a bone in there so that they can strengthen her jaw so she can get permanent implants put in for her teeth. Like I said, my mother's elderly, right? She's almost 70 years old. So she had to go in for surgery at this time. So I'm working by myself, right? It's just me looking after my parents. I'm having to look after my stepfather, who can barely walk. He's got a broken foot now thanks to my brother and my sister-in-law. My mom is in the hospital having major surgery done. Okay, and I'm trying to pay for everything, and it's difficult, very difficult. So this goes on and on and on for months, right? Let's just fast forward to Christmas time here. So at Christmas time, everything's going great, you know. I've got a hold on. My mom is at home. She wasn't in the hospital that long, so just something I want to just get off my chest here. And we're listening to some Witcher music. You know what? Let's play some Street Fighter. Let's get some Gout Fighter going here while I talk about this and my own personal issues really quick. So, over Christmas, the company that I work for ends up getting evicted from the building. No fault of our own. I've been working in this building for 15 years now. And the company that I now work for has been in the building for 14 years. And basically what happened is the company that owns the building wanted more space. And us being the only other company in that building, we got pushed out. And we were basically left to fend for ourselves to find a new building. So we found a building. And we ended up moving. Well, let's just say we are currently still moving. But the problem that I have is, in the middle of this move was supposed to happen over Christmas. And I got back from Christmas. And, well, I got COVID. It turns out the owner of the company and myself both tested positive for COVID.
Casual match.
And that sucked, right? Because in Alberta here, I am double vaxxed and I am boosted. So I have to quarantine for a minimum of 5 days. Mandatory quarantine for 5 days. So last weekend, I had a sore throat. Thought nothing of it. You know, woke up Monday morning, still had a bit of a sore throat, but I thought, you know what, I'm going to stay home today. I never, ever miss work when I'm sick, but with COVID, you know, you have to. And so I just called in sick. Hadn't tested myself. I do have at-home test kits, and I'll get into that in a little second here. I ended up testing myself because I contacted the owner, and the owner's wife called me, and she said, well, the owner has tested positive for COVID. So I went ahead and tested myself immediately and tested positive. So that was Monday morning. So I have to quarantine for 5 days. So here I've been sitting here for 5 days. It's Friday right now. Now Monday I just had like a bit of a sore throat. I felt okay. It was great, you know. Tuesday happened and man, it hit me, right? Even though I'm double vaxxed and boosted, that this thing really fucking hit me. I ended up with the chills, a high fever, a cough. The joint pain was intense. The runny nose. I had pressure in my ears. I had pressure in my nose. I had massive headache, and I also have hydrocephalus. So I don't know if it's the hydrocephalus that's causing the headache or if it's the COVID that's causing the headache. I have no idea. Wednesday, wake up Wednesday morning, I can't walk. My legs are wobbling like I have mad cow disease. Like, I'm fucked. Like, still have a bit of a fever, still have a cough, still have a runny nose, but I get out of bed and my legs are just wobbling. And I can't stand. So I just laid in bed all day long on Wednesday. Didn't do anything. Thursday, started feeling a little bit better. Friday, today, I feel great. Just got a little bit of a stuffy nose. Still got the pressure in the ears. The fever's gone. Cough is pretty much gone. So, you know, I've been without work for a week. Things haven't been really going great for me, which is why I haven't been able to do this AdSense video. And that's just stuff that's going on with me right now. It's unavoidable. Basically, what I want to look at is, you know, what do I want to do with this channel going forward? And I want to make more of an effort now with it. I think this community is great. The detractors, my fellow detractors out there, are just amazing people. Super Crazy, Ravens Dolphin, Ann Leet, Pastor Miller. There's just so many of the guys. Piece of Peace, Asian Proper, Aqua Teal, fellow Albertan here. Just a great, great community that I love being a part of. So I have a couple videos, and one video is actually going to be on Phil's claims of Street Fighter. Now, Phil's claims of Street Fighter, I actually have contacted Capcom, and Capcom, I want to give a big shout out to the people at Capcom. They've gotten back to me with the stuff I requested. So I know stuff on the netcode. I know which versions of the game, how the game's being emulated. I know about hitboxes. I know about connections and everything like that. And I'm going to do a video based on that. I just want to get a hold of... Damn it. Just want to get a hold of Goji Tanks, because I want him to be a part of the video. And I want possibly Jose to be a part of the video. Oh, I fucked her up. And then I also want to do the Casa de Gout video that I said I was going to do. And that's going to revolve around Phil's setup and how poorly he has his setup done. We're going to go into things like how he can improve it, how much money it's going to cost for him to improve it, and just the kind of quality that he's going to look at in an improved stream. Alright? And I want to thank everybody out there for watching this video. You are an amazing bunch of people out there. And I want to thank you again. And I won the Street Fighter match. I'll see you guys in the next one.